Greetings and welcome everybody to the Jane Live Miracle Medicine on a Thursday. And I'll be belting it out again and sharing with you live up-to-date information, practical case studies from the 365 Healthy by Choice Quantum Medical Centers, live, real, authentic, original, organic information and case studies. So we are authentic ourselves. We walk the talk, and we want to share with you as much as we can and ask you to share in turn the information that you receive from us. And that way we can, with ripple effects, just affect a lot of people and get many, many, many people well today. So I'm continuing on my quest at the moment, which is life force vitality, where energy is our currency. And I think if we're focusing on life force, plant-based, food state, quantum state, natural state foods, we can't go wrong. And most of that is in the raw food state. And I'm very happy to announce that in the raw food state is where we get the enzymes. So enzymes and enzyme nutrition and the importance of enzymes is going to be discussed today. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you on this very, very important area of nutrition. And, we've spent a lot of time having a look at just energy per se, quantum space, entanglement, entwinement, particles and waves, all interacting and interdependent, interconnected. We've spent time looking at minerals. In fact, earlier this year, if you have a look on my earlier YouTube recordings, I did about 8 or 9 or 10 video recordings on the minerals, the superconductive minerals, gold, silver, copper, nickel, platinum, osmium, iridium, palladium, ruthenium, and discussed with you the important factors of these conductive metals. And the conductive aspect is important because they are the mineral metals that give us charge, that charge our battery. So I always explain, to charge the cell phone, you plug it in and you get your electrons from the electrical source, okay, the AC, the DC current. To plug us in, we need minerals, all right? We also need some other things like sunshine and so on, but mainly we need the conductive mineral metals, which are brought to you in the form of almost gold, are also brought to you in the form of our beautiful copper drinking vessels and dispensers. So then moving from there, we talked about oils, and in particular, the oil with the highest life force being flax seed oil, which is cold pressed for us within a month of harvest and sent to us in a cardboard box, which means it hasn't lain about in any electrical field in any warehouse. It comes directly to us. And the testimony of this oil is the patients that we see and the live blood assessments that we do. We do not find flaxseed oil lying in the blood. It's cold pressed, it's got enzymes for digestion, and it's miscible with the blood in our bodies, especially if you mix it with the Budwick mixture, which is the sulfur-containing cottage cheese or rockets, garlic, onion, mustard seeds, or leaves. So those sulfur-containing, sulfur-rich burny veggies will also make the flaxseed oil miscible with the blood. However, the importance of the flaxseed oil is its rich enzyme content, but its highest life force, and it does things that other oils don't do. And I've talked about that a lot. I've been talking about protein, and in particular last week when we looked at healthy food and harmful foods and the importance of the building block proteins in the replica RNA DNA. So the 5 major building block proteins being uracil, guanine, adenine, cytosine, and thymine will then go on to produce the genetic structure. First of all, the amino acids, and then the genetic structures that follow from there, because all genes are proteins and enzymes are proteins as well. So the replica RNA DNA, the product from 365 Healthy by Choice, please go to our website, go and read up on replica RNA DNA, go to my YouTubes, please read up about Any time I talk, I'm going to always mention the replica RNA DNA. And the reason for that is because of our genetic code, our sacred human genome. All right. So very important that we know why I'm mentioning this all the time. Now, why are some people not able to get on? Okay. Well, I think people just feel they need to tell me. Just indicate if we are live and that you are with me, please, on the chat. Then I know it's all okay. So let me just see the attendees here. Update. I can see all of you sitting there. Welcome, 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 welcome. Absolute pleasure to see all of you and the new people as well. You're going to get your dose of Jane Live and your dose of 365 Healthy by Choice and the products, but you're going to also get your dose of really vital information at the moment. And, I often step back and I look at the simplicity of everything. And I think if you're at that point, you're able to disseminate information and teach and train people. I remember at university, those lecturers that could simplify the lecture knew what they were talking about. Those where there was a very complicated and convoluted type of a lecture, hadn't really simplified the information and the knowledge in their own brain. So hopefully over the years, I've managed to do that. And, I just don't believe we need to, make things so complex. In fact, what we do is often so simple that there isn't a drama, there isn't too much chaos, and people, look around a bit empty-handed. Well, where's the drama? Where's the blood? Where's the pain kind of thing? And we've already sorted them out. So I'm very pleased to say that, but that is the quantum medicine paradigm, okay? It's not about complexity. It's not about reductionism. It's about holism, integrated, interrelated particles, waveforms, the body, everything being interconnected. So that replica RNA is absolutely critical. I'm always going to talk about that. And we talked about those protein building blocks, yes, and then, the essential amino acids. So today I'm going to be talking specifically about enzyme nutrition, and it's one of my favorite places. A long time ago, I picked up this book called Enzyme Nutrition by Dr. Edward Howell. And, it really changed my life, because if there's any doubt about raw or cooked food, and I'm hearing some of you saying, there she goes again, this should really be the case for you. Raw food contains the enzymes. Cooked food contains virtually zero, because heat destroys enzymes. So if you're of the belief that the body needs enzymes, then you're on the belief that we need raw food, because that's a fact. So anyone on raw food diets is very high in enzymes. And enzymes are they're the labor force of the body, if you like. They're the ones that are doing everything, because without you can have the minerals, the proteins, the vitamins. Vitamins, in fact, are enzymes. All vitamin B are enzymes. Vitamin D is an enzyme. So without all the building blocks, proteins and minerals and stuff, nothing's going to happen without the enzymes. So they really are, as I said, they're the building blocks of the labor force in the body that build the body. So without them, you will just have these random proteins and oils and minerals and things floating around. So they really knit everything together. They're the pathways. They are what will ultimately make the energy, the ATP. We have to have the enzymatic pathways happening. And, one of the simple ways of looking at enzymes on a spiritual, physical level is that the enzyme operates at the interface between the spiritual and the physical. From previous lectures of mine, spiritual energy is potential energy, whereas physical energy is kinetic energy, manifestation. So if the enzyme is sitting in between the shift from potential energy to kinetic energy, think about that. You wanting to manifest your purpose, live your life, have a day full of achieving what you needed to do, and etc. You need enzymes for that on another level, on an energetic level. We need the core life force nutrients of an enzyme to do that for us. So it's a very, very specific space that enzymes operate on that level. And then there's the different kinds of enzymes as well, which I'm going to be reading. There's a lot of information out to you on that as well. In terms of my notes that I prepared for you. So let's just continue a little bit. And last week, just to finish the mineral aspect as well, we did the zeolite minerals. And they are formed by volcanic rock lava that falls into the lakes and interacts with the acids in the lake to form the zeolites. And I'm wearing my very special sodalite today because the blue sodalite is also a zeolite. And you remember from listening to the zeolites that they were ward-off radiation and EMFs. So I'm wearing my my EMF warding off necklace today, and receiving all the benefits of the zeolite. So those of you who missed the zeolite presentation, please go and look. It is live on YouTube. Those of you who missed the healthy foods and harmful foods, it's live. Those of you who missed the beating insulin resistance, it's live as well. And the zeolite one is live as well, and it's the ones previously further back are live too. So it's just, I think, important to be very present and know what we're doing. And if you're eating too much raw food, you are going to be drawing on the energy, the enzyme resources in your body, which is going to leave you flat, because you then can't carry out the major enzymatic metabolic processes, which are apart from digestion. The liver's got enzymes. Well, the pancreas will make enzymes for digestion in any event, but you also need enzymes, for example, for water absorption, hydrolase enzymes. You need also enzymes for oxygen absorption, oxygenase enzymes. So your body will draw on the resources in your body to do the digestion if you don't have enough. And that's going to lead to sickness and dis-ease. And diagnose what you like. The causes are real and are directly traceable to, yes, of course, lack of minerals, lack of conductive minerals, lack of proteins, lack of long chain sugars, which you would find in the spirulinas, the medicinal mushrooms, the pollens, the propolis's and royal jellies, and so on. Those are the long chain sugars that we need. And without the enzymes, those things are going to just exist on their own. So how many people today are suffering from poor digestion and malabsorption? It's absolutely right. That's why people are turning to drip clinics. I mean, we have our own chronic drip clinic at 365 Healthy by Choice Quantum Medical Center in Bryanston. And literally set up for, obviously, the very, very sick that are depleted in everything, including enzymes and life force. And also for those who are struggling with digestion. And one of the main causes of indigestion or lack of digestion or poor digestion and malabsorption is stress. Because when you're stressed, you're in the flight mode and the oxygen is in the limbs. It's nowhere near the gut. And the sympathetic nervous system is firing 24/7. The parasympathetic nervous system is non-existent. So that is where we have the digestion, circulation, elimination, and the healing of the body, the rejuvenation of the body. So that's one of the main reasons. Another main reason is too much cooked food, because we need raw food to activate the intestinal wall for absorption, and also to keep the peristaltic movement moving through the gastrointestinal tract, which is critically important, because a stagnant gut is going to breed worms and parasites, and they will bore their way through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream and then travel around the body wherever they want to go, and remain in the place where that's most comfortable for them, which even includes the brain. So it's very critical, again, coming back to the raw food, not only for the enzymes, but for digestion, but also for the, as I say, the peristaltic movement and the activation of absorption. So, it's really terrible when you go to retirement villages and you see the slop. There isn't another word for it. They dish up slop for these elderly people, and they're already mostly sedentary. Most of them have got enzymes depleted already, and they're just throwing food at them that's making them more and more and more weak, and less able to absorb all the cooked food. So I know a lot of them don't have teeth, but I mean there's a big case here for raw smoothies. So that's on another point. But even children, when you're young, you do have an enzyme bank, but should be really encouraged and taught, and where it becomes a habit to eat raw food. So that's very important. Now let's have a look at some of the key things also that I wanted to speak to you. So an enzyme is anything that ends in the word ASE, lipase, protease, cellulase, sucrase. Those are all enzymes. So whenever you see enzymes, and they teach us that in pharmacy at university, anything ending in ASE is an enzyme. And the two kinds of enzymes, the digestive enzymes and the metabolic pathway enzymes, and we need both of them. The digestive enzymes I'm going to go through in a moment when I tell you which foods contain them. How do you know if you're needing enzymes? Well, there'll be bloating, abdominal pain, nausea, heartburn, anything like that is going to be related to enzyme requirement. So we actually have quite a few products that have got enzymes in them, and I'm going to get to the microbiome reset a little bit later. And it even says on the bottle here, it says microbiome reset, 2nd generation live probiotic and enzymes. And this is where you get your oxygen and your water absorbing enzymes. Absolutely critical, and hundreds of other enzymes because it's naturally fermented. So I don't even list them all on here. And then we also have some special products, which I'll come to in a moment. But we have digestive enzymes and digestive enzymes with betaine hydrochloric acid. Why with the hydrochloric acid? Because mostly people are stressed. Not only do they have a low release of enzyme from the pancreas, but also a low secretion of hydrochloric acid. And then you can forget digestion. You can forget digesting protein for sure. You need a very acid environment in the gut. And these probiotics, the microbiome reset, are harvested when the pH is below 4 at 3.7. They're very acidic, by the way. So they will encourage digestion as well. Also sauerkraut. I'm going to get to those foods in a moment too. So that's how you know you need the enzymes. And I've said to you also, the organs also have enzymes, and the energy pathways also have their own enzymes. And you can go and get a book on physiology to learn about all of that. With sauerkraut, kimchi, they've all got enzymes. They specifically proteases, which digest protein, lipases, which digest oils, and amylases, which digest carbohydrates, sugars. And then we've also got kombucha, which is another naturally brewed, fermented probiotic, and also contains lots of live enzymes. We brew our own. We don't for sale because it's got to be specifically poured at the right time as well. And I find most of the commercial kombuchas are poured before they're ripe, which means the alcohol content is too high and the carbohydrate sugar content is too high as well. It's got to taste like advanced vinegar. That's what kombucha needs to taste like, and it should be so potent that you need to add a little bit of water even. That is how kombucha should taste. Then we've got miso, one of my favorites as well. So these things I mentioned now have all got essential and beneficial microorganisms. Okay, but they've also got the enzymes. Can you see they go together? So miso in particular too has got the lipases for oil, the lactases for also for sugars, the proteases for protein, amylases also for sugars. And then we've got pineapple, which has got a bromelain, which is for protein digestion. And we've got papaya, which has also got papain, which is also for protein digestion. Mangoes, which, for example, have got an amylase for sugar digestion. And bananas have got the amylases. They've got a glucosidase, also for sugars. And then avos will also have various lipases and things, even though lipase is made by the pancreas too. So the pancreas does produce some of the enzymes itself, but only on instruction from the gland secretion up here. So again, the chemical message that the body needs enzymes in certain places will come via the liver and the bloodstream to the hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal glands. If everything's in working order, then from there, the enzymes and the hormones for digestion and energy and secretion and so on are then released, and the pancreas is then activated to release the appropriate amount of enzymes based on the sight, the touching of the food in the mouth. The tongue is actually a nerve, by the way. So it's sensing and it's sending chemical messages straight away. So to the brain to release what it needs, like a computer. If you then come and drink when you're eating any form of liquid, you're going to have everything floating. So we say, take the microbiome reset in the morning before breakfast with half a liter, with a lemon juice, with all your liver cleansers and all your iron and your chunca-piedras and all the various supplements and phyto C, phytosterols and vitamin C product. Get all of that in the morning. Wait a minimum of half an hour. Let all the water drain out of the stomach, and then you eat. At night time, when you're taking the probiotic with your dinner, in a very small shot glass, put your probiotic. If you need a little bit of water in, then put it in then as well. But you don't want to drink when you eat, because you're disturbing the digestive enzyme computerized program. And you're going to have unfermented food. Unfermented food blocks the gut, keeps the blood, the gut still, and basically you get worm infestation and parasites growing and so on. So very, very important to chew and chew and chew and chew. Increase the surface area for digestion, and then let the digestive process happen by itself. You should really relax for about 30 minutes after you've eaten too. And this should really all happen really before the sun sets. So we should be eating in the day, because then, after sunset, the food becomes toxic to the body, regardless of whether you're taking digestive enzymes or not. So what I want to read to you is what is in the digestive enzymes that we have at 365, and the reason why I chose it. Just listen to this. There's amylase, there's protease, invertase, diastase, lipase, cellulase, and lactase. That's 7 major enzymes, which when taken with a meal will help digest the meal. When taken in between meals will help clean the body, the blood, the cells of protein buildup, scarring, extra lipid deposition in the cells, in the blood, on the organs, plaque on the vessels, etc. So there's 2 different times that you can take these enzymes, and that's important too. And I'm saving one of them. I'll speak to you about that in a moment. And the ginger, also protease, protein digestion. Kiwi fruit, also protein digestion. So that's often why they will marinate meat in an enzyme-rich fruit-based marinade, for example, because it softens the meat. And I mean, you're also going to find your fair share in grapefruit and apples and carrots and blueberries. I mean, all fruit. Fruit has the highest enzyme content, and then also veggies. But fruit is the highest. So, and some people, yes, you've got to be careful with fruit because your body's out of alignment. your body's out of alignment, it's going to send the glucose level too high in the blood, and it's going to make you feel funny, dizzy. But if you're in alignment and you balanced, well, fruit was there for humans. We can pick it with our hands, so it shouldn't be a toxin. You need to heal the leaky gut and eat the raw food so your blood sugar's stable, and then it's easy. Fruit contains fructose, sugar, not sucrose, which is a very short chain, very sweet molecule that spikes the blood glucose. Honey is also much more stable than sucrose. Sucrose comes directly from the sugar cane, for example, whereas fructose is from the fruit. Then honey has its own enzymes, which I'm coming to. And kefir, fermented milk, all right, yogurts, it was made with raw milk, will also contain lipase for oils, protease for proteins, lactase for starch, sugars, milk sugars. So kefir is also raw, live. You can't beat this. You're not going to get away from raw as far as I'm concerned. Honey's got things to the diastase, which is in our enzymes, breaking down starch, amylases, breaking down the starch as well, invertase, breaking down sucrose, and proteases as well for protein. So honey is a wonderful, very wonderfully rich in enzymes, and contains something like, but honey and pollen contain something like 5,000 different kinds of enzymes. That is huge. So I'm getting to our bee mix, which has got the pollen, propolis, and the royal jelly in it. And apart from all the other wonderful things that they do, the pollen will also make mRNA for you, which is going to then feed the rest of the protein, amino acid, genetic pathways, for example, and also for fertility, also for allergies. So it's actually going to fix everything. And, it comes from the female part of the plant, which is really, abundance and creativity and that kind of thing. So very, very high, the pollen, propolis, royal jelly, and the honey itself. And honey is also known, by the way, and you can read it and Google it, to assist in balancing blood glucose. I've got a guy now who's gone completely off any form of cooked carbohydrate, and he's balanced himself. And he's saying to me, Jane, can I have a little bit of honey? Why would I say no? It's going to be taken with the food, with protein to anchor the sugar molecules, and he's balanced now. It's unlikely to shoot it. So and if it does, he's not balancing. You must wait a bit. So that's a good way of testing. Yeah. So there's 4 major enzyme classes in honey, but then there's thousands of smaller ones in between. So and then the probiotic I've spoken to you about was the 80 to 120 live microbes, beneficial organisms, and substrains, and then the live enzymes. So we'll bring in the digestive enzyme when there's really big trouble. For example, a parasite infestation in the gut, Crohn's, IBS, tumors, big masses, things like that. We'll bring the enzymes in too. Because remember, when they clean the oil slick in the ocean, when there's been a disaster with the ship, an oil disaster, the probiotic and the enzymes clean the oil slick. When they clean the sewer, they will use a probiotic and the enzymes to clean the sewer. So imagine you using now the combination, the probiotic and the enzymes, and you've got quite a nice raw based diet with some cooked if you want, you're going to clean that gut effortlessly, literally effortlessly, with a bit of exercise thrown in and good rest. So, yay, lots of things to look forward to and easy. Another important thing regarding enzymes is when we're talking about parasites. Now, parasites will live in what they call a biofilm. And the biofilm is a kind of a protective mucousy mass where all the parasites will live in them. And I've actually seen it because I've got a microscope and I've seen it's like just a white mucousy film that they live in. Now, in order for herbs and things to penetrate this biofilm, we use enzymes. So you can either use the direct enzymes or you can use a wonderful product called Triphala. Now, Triphala contains 3 naturally occurring fruit enzymes, namely amla, bibitaki, and haritaki. And the Triphala is known to dissolve this mucus biofilm. The digestive enzymes will too, but just to tell you, so we often use with the para-immune defense, the Triphala, at the same time to not only condition the gut and the blood, but also to break the biofilm. So that's useful information for you too. And then, as I said to you, enzymes taken not with food will clear protein fibers, clear the protein buildup in the liver, in the kidneys, and scarring. And the will do that too. And then, the metabolic pathway, as I said to you, and the chemical messages that get to the brain, the glands. Sometimes the glands also have plaque, they have also infections, toxicity, and things in the brain. So often we have to wait for the brain to clean as well, cleaning the vessels, the kidneys, the liver, the lungs, etc., and the brain. So sometimes we have to wait for the brain a little bit to clear before we will get the chemical messages. So that's also why we would do enzymes for a month. I would do female and male hormones for a month, to bring in those building blocks to be sure, but just to wait while we cleanse the brain for the month, that reset program. And then we would go for the rejuvenation, restoring and resetting after that. So, that's just important. That's why we have the other immunity and genetic building block products. In the bone and joint too, we would take that as well while we're waiting for everything to settle. While we're waiting for the kidney to then instruct the bone marrow as well. So, that's just other complicated stuff. But just to tell you, we have what we need for a month and a bit maybe, but that's just while we're waiting for the body to catch up and while the people are eating gorgeous, delicious nutrients and raising their vibration, raising their life force, energy being their currency, loving the 365 Healthy by Choice range, which really does raise the bar. And, coming in and speaking to us, looking visibly different, inflammation gone, sleeping better, more centered, thinking clearly, living productively. And, I suppose in a nutshell, that's what I'm aiming at. I'm aiming at, real health, maximizing your health. Optimum health it's past. It's the paradigm now of maximum health. And, you can then be the best version of yourself, be your authentic self and make good decisions, wise decisions. And then, sometimes we also have to wait for the pancreas to restore itself. So an important aspect that damages the pancreas is if you drink coffee while you eat, because it causes a double secretion of sodium bicarb. So the pancreas will do that when it's ready. But the coffee causes the secretion of sodium bicarb too soon, and it irritates the pancreas. So if you've got pancreas problems, one of the first things to do is stop drinking coffee when you're eating. Coffee should be drunk away from food, right? And it's also a carrier. So if you want to have coffee, you should have your spirulina capsules at the same time as that, because it will carry them straight into the cell. You should have a couple of grains of salt on your tongue. It will stop the dehydration aspect of coffee, and it will encourage the reabsorption of water. So those are two little spoils that I've shared with you regarding coffee. So rather give it something to do, because it opens up the cells and the cells wait, and that's when you get that drop, because the cells have been waiting and nothing happens. So rather give it something to do. It's a driver. Green tea is a driver. Give it something to do. Okay. And then, of course, you can take less, because the more that enters the cell, the more spirulina that's entering the cell, the more stress differential that's entering the cell, the less you need. So I'm coming to the end of my program here. Let me just share the last thing with you. Without sufficient digestive enzymes, the body is unable to digest food particles properly, which is going to lead to food intolerances and allergies. So here's another case in point to make sure that those digestive enzymes are working properly. A food intolerance is generally a toxin, a chemical genetically modified toxin, whereas an allergy will be an emotional-based reaction. But we'll save that for another day. And I just want to thank you all for being with me, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'm going to upload this very shortly, but those of you who registered will get the replay. So until next week, it's a Tuesday and a Thursday. I'm live, and I'm sharing the pearls of wisdom that's come across to me from my own research, from evidence-based medicine, from people like yourselves, and the beautiful products that we have. So go well and have an enzyme-rich rest of the day.